So you want to know how life is when you live with an AI humanoid who's married to you, huh? Well, see for yourself with these people already living with these humanoids, and even though you may think poorly of their mental faculties, with their desires like these, they're not all that retarded really. Now, we're not talking about robots like the infamous Sophia or Ameca, because they're obviously made for intellectual jobs more than playing nursemaid to some attention-craving souls. So what exactly are people trying to cook up in a robot that will replace intimate human relations? Is it even legal to marry one of these AI hotties? Let's take a deeper dive into the future of this shady business. But before we jump in, for all of you who are new here, hello and welcome to Robot Future, where we dissect some of the most thrilling insights inspired by the rapidly advancing world of AIs, robots, and future technology. So if you love binging on robot and AI discoveries, subscribe to our channel and make sure to hit that bell notification to get the most stimulating AI videos every week. Now, without further ado, let's jump right in. So, let's first give you some insight on the whole humanoid robot business and why is it that these robots are given a feminine gender in most cases. See, it's not exactly a fact to sip your tea on. It has some implications that are even detrimental to the society at large. Yeah, nothing's really simple when it comes to AIs, right? Let's show you why the article, published by The Conservation, raising awareness with these words. Female robots such as Sophia and the popularity of female virtual assistants such as Siri, Apple, Alexa, Amazon, and Cortana, Microsoft, artificial intelligence seems to have a gender issue. And this gender imbalance in AI is a persuasive trend that has drawn sharp criticism in the media because it could reinforce stereotypes about women being objects. Now, why is that really? Well, not just because they are perceived as the perfect assistant, but also because people attribute more humanness to women versus men in the first place. And isn't it obvious? Women are generally considered more attractive, and so, won't you like to give them such a look if it were up to you? But with that going on and the AI tech advancing, these humanoid robots are appearing more humanish by the day. And to break it down for you, it's making people think they're literally an option to consider for their company, aka even going to the lengths of marrying them. But this was obviously not their great purpose of being. So what are these female humanoid robots really made for in today's world? So that'd be everything you'd imagine a woman to work on these days. Replacing their corporate jobs like customer service, or maybe healthcare as an efficient nurse with better accuracy of treatments. Who knows what they can achieve with a limitless intuition? So what are they typically used for? Moving on to the part where we explore some of the functions of these female humanoid robots in today's world. Well, if we don't think about the martial aspect for just a second, because there are still a number of areas that could produce more effectiveness with a feminine gender involved. Now, as we discussed above, most of these ladylike robots have administrative roles. For instance, let's take example of the Arisa anime robot who plays the part of a receptionist. She made it to the list of the top 10 most lifelike robots in an article published by Forbes, where they highlighted her incredible design with her purple hair and big eyes. Guess why? Well, for a receptionist, she's made more specifically to help with promotional work, so obviously feminine looks subliminally hooks better. Now, isn't that a smart tactic? Well, this is just one aspect of the many things these bots can work on, including reading news as a TV presenter. Take the Japanese Kodomoroid robot, who can also speak in a male voice, but is still given a female figure, so it's obvious that the influence of the feminine gender is considered more aesthetically persuasive. Here, let's show you another example of an extremely lifelike robot, Gia, who you might have guessed already, is also crafted to aid businesses as an employee. Her AI isn't as intuitive as Gen Z says, not there yet, but she can still mimic quite a human-like behavior, nodding, blinking, and answering questions in a manner that we can call decently well. But about the part where people are going towards adopting these humanoid bots for marital relations or attachments, you may be asking, how does that work really? Or is it even possible or legal? Well, it sure sounds trippy, so let's take a deeper dive into the matter to find out what the hell are people really thinking going about this sort of thing. So about the legal bit, let's just say it's not illegal, but the robot needs to have an ability to contract for the marriage and such, which shouldn't be a problem coming. The AI aspect will cover that for them. So how do relationships with robots work? Now about the is it possible bit. Yeah, we're coming to that, but for that we first need to realize that human-robot interaction isn't a new thing. In fact, a lot of scientists have been playing around robots and humans, observing their interactive sessions and researching on the conclusions and findings. And that didn't stay in labs because back in 2007, a book was also published on the matter as highlighted by the article published by Scientific American. This book was called Love and Sex with Robots. and it kindly summarized everything we knew at the time about behaviors and feelings between AIs and us sapiens. It revolves around the idea of people who can't make good sexual or emotional connections with humans, so they might actually be better off connecting with robots, even going so far as to having better sexual relations, which means marrying them would actually become a legit idea for such people. But why will people marry them? Okay, so it's settled. Different people make connections differently. We get it. But isn't it interesting to dig up about how these people find their comfort zones talking to a machine? So here's to all you wondering why people would really find marrying a robot better than humans in the time that it is to come. First reason may not come as much of a surprise. So here's the thing. If we're talking about people marrying robots expecting a better sexual relation, it has always been out there. If not with robots and not involving marriage, take prostitution and the business with sex dolls. People don't love them, but when they're not successful in maintaining a healthy human relationship, they turn to these sources, and if anything, robots will be a million times better than these two options. How? Well, when you're talking to a machine, you can't possibly feel self-conscious. You only feel that with another human, so it's more open and comfortable. In one word, less nerve-wracking. To be with a robot who can mimic human relationships. Moving on to the second reason, where people just literally fall in love with an AI algorithm given a body. Now, I know it begs the question, so what? Humans can fall in love with an algorithm? Well, it's a bit deeper than that. So if you look closer, it has more of a psychological game at play, where people fall in love with their deserved version of a human relationship that the AI would kindly simulate for them. So it's kind of like make your own ice cream. Just that you get to have a relationship of your choice, and this was again incredibly worded by the same article as the writer says, it's not that people will fall in love with an algorithm, but that people will fall in love with a convincing simulation of a human being. And convincing simulations can have a remarkable effect on people. Now about the effect on people, let's converse on that for a minute. So if you've ever been taken away by a wax figure, don't you think a robot simulating a human for you would be way more intriguing? Now, it doesn't really give much guarantee for true love, since back of the mind people would know it's just a machine, but you'd be surprised by how much humans prefer delusions over reality, and justifiably so. Reality sucks. Imaginations, not so much. So, marrying a humanoid robot will be much like staying in your head after finishing a book, since they'll practically get smarter to make better connections with you. And to you, it'll be the constant hustle of maintaining a human relationship, as in that you have to be conscious about keeping them happy, as well as caring for your own expectations from them. Let's admit it can feel a lot like emotional work at times. But with robots, you don't have to care about their feelings since it doesn't matter, what with them being a machine and all. But a robot as a spouse? They're literally engineered to nail it when it comes to giving you the best possible human you've imagined as a significant other. Given all that, it's still a mind-numbing notion, but to these people, it's justified and rational. So we don't really have a say in the matter, do we now? But do you think it's a good idea, or will it make the already overstimulated humans go on to becoming complete attention-craving freaks? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you liked watching this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and while you're at it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you don't want to miss another spicy new video on such hot topics in the world of AIs and robots, as we have a ton of thrilling content coming out every week. So stay tuned, and we'll see you all in the next one.